Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulation.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast with Mike and Jay. Shalom, Biggie. Hello, Jay.
Gentlemen,
How are you, my friend?
very well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'd have it no other way. A little tired. I was up late. I got to admit, I was up kind of late. I got stuck watching TV.
What you watching
which
these
I'm known
days?
to do. You know, I can't do networks anymore.
Are you still sleeping on the couch bed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The couch bed's
So that is
great.
very conducive to late night TV watching.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically, it probably happens every night, right?
It's really the main reason I'm on the couch
waking up
bed.
at like 2 in the morning and watching a half hour, then catching another wink or two, wake up at 4.
Wake up. Wait, what happened? I'm 2 episodes further than I was an hour ago. Hold on. And then I back it up, and it's like 3 in the morning, and I got one eye open, and I just want to see what happens with the end of this. Boy, I thought that buzz in the background wasn't going to be annoying, but
Yeah, you can hear it, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
I apologize. We all apologize. In fact, there's he goes, "Is your house going to blow up? Is that what that means?" Like, I don't think so, but there's some sort of a red light and a siren going on the side of the house. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. Move along.
It's a well issue, right?
It's a pump issue of
Yeah.
some sort, and so they're sending people that should be here within the hour
Sure.
to deal with that. I'm sure they'll come back and go, "Mr. Walters, that'll be $50,000. We'll get started immediately. We'll dig up yours and 3 of your neighbors' lawns, and then you'll be responsible for the landscaping repairs for all." Should be no more than $120,000 total.
If they roll up here with a ditch witch and a bobcat, yeah.
I'm running. I might just grab like a handful of items and then run. Just run and never look back. You know what I mean?
Just like the 2008 mortgage crisis, just people just ditching their homes. Oh, I owe more than it's worth.
I'll lock this door on the way out. See you guys later.
No, you grab all the cabinets and shit on your way out. That's what people were doing.
Copper tubing.
Fuck.
You grab the copper tubing. Haven't we learned that? That's what you need to do. So I don't know. Hopefully the house doesn't blow up. If it does, this will be a very popular website come tomorrow morning if the house explodes while we're here. But anyway, yeah, so I was up late watching a couple of things. I was telling you I was watching The Staircase. I think I'm done with that maybe. But I started watching that Last Chance U. Are you a fan of that show?
I've watched maybe a season and a half of that, but I've not gotten into the new season.
Well, have you by chance seen Snoop Dogg's football
No.
documentary on
No.
Netflix? They've got like a
You mean Coach Snoop or whatever?
Coach
or?
Snoop, which is hilarious. It's one thing when you see these coaches just motherfucking everyone on the field and they're in college, but these are like 8-year-olds with Snoop,
Oh,
7 and
no,
8-year-olds,
he's
and it's like
motherfucking 'em?
motherfucking cocksucking N-words. God damn it, N-word, get over here, you fucking. And these parents are sitting there like, that's Coach Snoop and his
Didn't
team.
his kid just sign a D1? Was it UCLA?
I think so.
Yeah.
Is a receiver?
Maybe.
Maybe QB. Yeah, I mean, by all accounts, he's a decent. It's worth watching just to see a multiple grown men, motherfucking.
Is he smoking on the sideline too?
Oh,
It's
dude,
gotta be, right?
I don't
It's
know.
medicinal. Come on.
Of course, having 20 blunts a day is absolutely medicinal. But dude, it's hilarious. But this Last Chance U, I know people have talked about it. It always shows up on my radar on Netflix.
Give a little synopsis for people who don't know what the fuck it
Okay,
is.
so basically, you've got a college.
Junior college.
Junior college. What do they call them?
JUCO.
JUCOs. Community college for people around here. Junior college is more West Coast, and community college is what they call it around here usually. But anyway, these kids are usually like, a lot of them are 5-star, 4-star recruits that go to, D1 schools on a football scholarship. Half of them can't read or write. There was a kid yesterday in one of the episodes I was watching. She goes, the English teacher is telling me, she's like, "Now, why did you put the period there?" And he goes, "I just write what I'm going to write, and then I just start putting dots randomly on the
shit.
page." She goes, she busts out laughing.
Just a young student athlete.
She busts out laughing. He's 22. And she's like, "Oh, wow. That was funny what you said. I don't mean to laugh, but..."
Oh, you weren't joking. Holy shit.
You're literally looking at a piece of paper with a bunch of words on it and just going, "Yeah, I guess a dot could go there."
Oh my
I've seen a
God.
lot of people put dots in random places on these. Yeah. So that's the kind of student athlete you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And
Scholar athletes, really.
and these guys, their motto is like, "C's get degrees." So it's like if we just get you to
Actually, I thought it was D's get degrees.
yeah, D's too, but
well,
they're
the problem
They're overachievers.
Well, here's the problem. Well, no, D's get degrees in community college, but you need to have a C to like transfer credits. So if you don't care, if you're just getting your 2-year degree from OCC, D's can get degrees.
D's get degrees, already. This guy knows what I'm talking
Not
about.
that I know, of course.
And so, yeah, so you're basically seeing some of these kids. It's like you've got a roster filled with 30 of the 50 players are transfers from other states, and they're D1 quality kids. And because they're all wearing the gear of where they came from
Yeah,
before.
I remember that too. Yeah, guys rolling in there with like Colorado Buffalo stuff on.
Yeah, Michigan stuff. There's a kid, Kingston Davis, in the latest episode, which I guess followed the 2017 season. And the goal for these coaches is, at least for this current coach, is to get these guys grades good enough to just go back to D1 and then hopefully live out their dream of making it to the NFL, and some crazy talent. But seeing these coaches, man.
Yeah, I watched a couple seasons ago, and I guess they must have ditched that coach because he got too soft. Like I watched one season where he was hardcore motherfucking everybody.
Yeah.
And then I watched the beginning of the next season, and he was like, "Yeah, I embarrassed my family last season. I mean, I watched some of those episodes, and it was
Playing
just
piano under him.
yeah, and my daughters, my daughters go to this school, and I gotta think about them. And you could just hear the producers like, No, dude, this is what the show's about. You MFing these people. And so they must have got through that season, then ditched that guy and moved on to Indy, I guess it is.
Yeah, and it's not Indianapolis. It's Independence Community College.
In Kansas.
Independence, Kansas. And these guys are just like, what the fuck? Where are we now? You got kids from Compton and all over Florida, and they're just like, that is a cow on our football field, and there's a guy with a shotgun like chasing a cow, and they're like, don't shoot the cow, man. Boom.
Who's up?
Boom.
Don't shoot.
Bovine lives matter. No, he's tranquilizing him. They're like an escaped cow, and these guys are like running. The coach is like, motherfucker, he's on our field. Go, boys, go. Shuffling his kids around. But it's so funny. This little town in Kansas, they're just like old people. It's like this old little community, small town vibe all the way. And you got these like senior citizens, and they're just proud. The factory's left. It's a Billy Joel song waiting to happen. The factory's long ago left, and they're just there. They got their little male
whittling. Are they whittling?
They're not whittling, but they're into the football. And to see these old people like, spring practice is starting, and they get their chairs, and this guy spends 20 minutes trying to unfold his chair as he's wobbling, and he sits down, and it's just like, you motherfucking cocksuckers, fuck you. Get off my fucking field, you piece of shit! And this guy's just sitting there, smiling,
just observing the team,
just taking in the squad.
Observing this year's recruits.
Listen here, homeboy, motherfucker, get off my motherfucking field, you piece of shit!
Yeah.
I will beat your shitty ass, you piece of shit!
And these former D1 players put up with it because they're trying to rehab their career. They're like, all right,
Yeah.
I didn't make the grade where I was, or I got kicked off the team for whatever reason, and I'm trying to get back into D1. But I got to spend my time here.
And they do not want to be JUCO kids.
Yeah.
They don't. They look down on them. They think less. I mean, you can imagine, dude. if you're a D1, literal 5-star recruit, and now you're playing at Indianapolis, Independence, Kansas, and this old man though, he's sitting there, he's like, well, I didn't put my hearing age yet, but I could tell the coach is getting a bit animated over there. And then you've got like the superintendent of schools is like, it's a very proud town. He's got to call the coach. It's a very proud town, and look, we all understand where you're from, Compton, California, different world than the Midwest. We're very proud people, and very, very religious. And if there's any way we could keep it down with the language.
Hey, trust the process, man.
Wait a minute, though. Why is it he's running the field how he sees fit? Why do these old people in the grass with their chairs have anything to do with this?
Because they've probably never heard the word cocksucking cunt before, and it's a bit alarming.
Well, do they want to win or do they don't?
The townspeople are paying the taxes. This guy's like, I need a new gym. I need a weight room. I need offices. They're ripping the whole town apart. New field. It's like, but they're winning. They're winning. And it's funny. You see like the discipline of kids at D1. Very rarely do you see explosions on the sidelines between players and coaches, players and players. A coach can scream up and down at a player and he'll just go sit down and take it because they're disciplined. They understand. These kids ain't taking that shit. And,
Yeah, they're in JUCO for a reason.
Yeah.
That attitude probably got them there. But you're right. I remember that about the seasons I saw, too. They were readily talking back to coaches, getting in fights with each other on the sidelines. It's pretty addicting, honestly. You watch the seasons of these things pretty quick.
But Jason Brown is like the white kid. He's like, I was the M&M of my team. Grows up in Compton in the 80s. You know, he's like, yeah, my dad, every day would drink till he passed out on the floor, and then I would get home and either wake him up or just let him sleep there.
Nice.
And, that's how I grew up. But it turns out he was a great athlete, and he's like, I was the only white kid within 100 miles of where I grew up, and so he's just got this, you wouldn't even know he was white by listening to him. It's just, listen here, homeboy, motherfucker, I'll kick your ass, stab you, motherfucker. He's like, okay. But this quarterback is driving me nuts. Malik Henry's his name, and some of you might remember him. He was he was the number USA Today top 300 in the country, or ESPN top 300, number one quarterback. Cannot get his shit together. He fucking sucks at school. He's late for every class. No respect for coaches. No respect for anything. And he's just got a rocket for an arm. And he's an amazing athlete. I mean, number one. And he's a baby. He's a fucking baby. The coaches are begging him. You cannot say the N-word on the field. You just can't. The refs are going to throw you out of the game, and you're going to be gone for 2 games. Ref comes up to him. So he says, he drops the N-word, fucking end this, blah, blah, blah. And they're walking off the field. It was one of those, like, taking a knee, going into the half. You're on your own 2-yard line. Let's just take a knee and get into the locker, right? Yeah. And instead of taking the knee, he's going to do one of those cutesy moves that a quarterback does, like stand there. And so finally one of the guys comes blasting through and fucking knocks his ass down. And then, everyone starts barking, the N-words flying. And the ref's, like, jogging upfield with him. He's like, hey, man, hey, kid, look, I'm going to let you go this time, but if I hear you say that word again, you're gone, and you're going to be gone. And he's just like, yeah, fuck you. And I'm like, oh,
sweet.
Okay. Nice kid. The fact that this ref...
You're at Indy for a reason, buddy.
Dude. And it's just like, oh, yeah.
God, what a cocksucker you must be if you're the number 1 recruit coming out that year of high school.
Yeah.
And you end up at a JUCO.
And now every time he's on camera, he's wearing Florida State gear. He's wearing his U.S. Army All-American, gear. All the free swag you got by being that type of player. But it's a fascinating thing to watch. If you haven't seen it, Last Chance at You, it's definitely interesting.
Hey, you already know that the Hamlin Pub is a great place to watch the big game, for a dinner with family and for a night out with your girl. But are you aware of Hamlin Pub's amazing Tuesday and Thursday food specials, Mike? Tuesdays are burger and brew days. Listen to this.
Oh, I like both of those.
It's an Angus burger, fries, and your choice of a 12-ounce domestic beer or soda, just $6.99. If pizza is more your thing, then get there on Thursdays where you'll get half off all pizzas. Great pizzas, too, by the way.
Oh, I love their pizza.
These specials are good at all 5 Hamlin Pubs locations. Visit them all in Clarkston, Chesterfield, Rochester, and 2 in Shelby Township.
Lastly, Michigan football fans might remember the name if you're close to the school and the players coming in. Kingston Davis. He was a U of M running back for a brief stint and just didn't get enough playing time. Grades probably faltered. He's also a part of this, too. So you got these D1, running backs, one from A&M. And one from Michigan as a part of it, along with Malik Henry. So, anyway, God, the president in Florida yesterday. Did you see that, Jay?
No.
And you didn't miss anything. I didn't watch it either, but
they were doing one of these rallies.
Yeah, exactly, stumping for whoever. But Jim Acosta was there, of course. CNN's made himself part of the story all the time, and people were just blasting him. He's trying to do a live shot, and look at this video of people behind him as he's trying to do. He's doing a talk back to Wolf Blitzer.
His children how to build their own wall in a show.
Build their own wall.
The White House closed out the month of July without holding a briefing for reporters today. That means the White House has held only 3 briefings for the press this month and 8 total since the end of May. There is
Look at Wolf.
Describe what the White House is doing these days. Well, top officials, including the president, are hiding from the press.
There's a better one. I should have told you.
Where are they saying?
CNN sucks. CNN sucks. Fake news, lies. There's someone from the side held a camera, and you can see these people. You can hear him. You can't even hear Acosta. I mean, they're yelling so loud. CNN sucks. CNN sucks. Fake news. Eric Trump actually tweeted this video out, retweeted this video of that accosting of Acosta, I guess, and with the hashtag truth. And Acosta wrote, "No, Eric, not the truth, and you know better."
Scolded by Acosta.
Yeah. Later in the evening, he was doing another shot. The entire auditorium is screaming CNN sucks at him. A longtime correspondent took to Twitter to address the situation. I love this shit. Just a sample of the sad scene we faced at the Trump rally in Tampa. I'm very worried that the hostility whipped up by Trump and in some conservative media will result in somebody getting hurt.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
We should not treat our fellow Americans this way. The press is not the enemy.
Talk about the pot calling the kettle black.
No
dude.
shit. That's exactly what I thought, E. I mean, it's like, really? You're going to do 93% of every story your fucking network does is
Well, it's affecting
negative?
him now, so.
Yeah. It's like, dude, yeah, we've all been saying the same thing. The shit you're ginning up is equally doing. I'm not saying Trump's right, but he's reacting to all the negative shit you guys are saying. Come on, man. It's not possible to have 93% negative stories every single day for a year and a half. It's not possible. Yet you're finding a way to do it. The White House Deputy Press Secretary Hogan Gidley was asked about Trump's attacks on the press. It seems as though no matter how good the news is, the press refuses to cover it that way, and it's quite frustrating for him. The successes continue, but the coverage continues to be negative. It's frustrating for him. It would be frustrating for anybody. And, yeah, I agree with that. But the other thing that he said was,
Oh, boy.
that made people go, huh? He was talking. He's talking about immigration, and people are trying to get like, oh, you don't need your ID to vote. Well, who needs that? I mean, hey, you're here, whether you're illegal or not. And he's like, you need an ID to vote, just like if you go to the grocery store, you need an ID to buy groceries.
What? What?
If you go out, you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card, you need ID.
Trump said this.
Yeah.
When's the last time Trump bought groceries?
Must have been a
I
long
was gonna
time
say
ago.
Never.
Is he thinking because back in the day he wrote a check and he needed an ID for his check? I mean,
Honest to God, think about how he grew up with his family. Is it possible Trump's never been in a grocery store?
Never bought groceries. Yeah.
I mean, unless he's thinking, like, he never would have bought alcohol. Alcohol, you would need an ID.
Right.
Cigarettes.
Yeah, good point. He doesn't drink.
But he doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. Never has. Like,
What's he thinking?
we all know if you go and you want to buy groceries, you need have you seen these cards with that has your picture on it? An ID, I believe it's called. You need one of those.
your ID to buy groceries.
Yeah. So for many, Trump's claim about needing ID to buy groceries.
What a stupid thing to say. What the fuck, man?
I know. I'd love some further explanation. He must have meant with, like, you can't, buying a six-pack or something. He must have been thinking that in his head.
Right.
Yeah.
The fact that if you use a credit card, some people will look, hey, if you're using a credit card, I need to see your ID with the card, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Do you remember George H.W. Bush?
I do
that?
remember him, yeah.
Yeah, no.
41.
Yeah. What's his joke again?
Copperfield.
Who's my favorite magician?
Yeah.
Yeah, David Copperfield. Bush, do you remember when he was on the campaign trail? This would have been for his re-election in '92, and he was showing amazement at his first sight of a supermarket scanner. And he was just-
Yeah,
he
I
was in-
kind of remember that.
people say
That
it
was when
l-
Clinton and Perot, right? Were
Yeah.
against him? Yeah, okay. Just for context. So, yeah, I got that in my head.
Yeah. And John Dean, former counsel under Nixon, was among those to draw the comparison between George H.W. Bush lost an election for not having any idea how an electronic scanner in a market worked. Trump thinks you need photo ID to buy groceries. May his ignorance come back to defeat him. Not to mention his ignorance is 100 times or 10,000 times Bush's.
Well, he's not a politician, as we know. I mean, those politicians like Dukakis in the dumb tank helmet.
Tank helmet.
That ended him, man.
Yeah.
Just looking like a moron with a tank helmet on.
I know Ed Graybo gets pissed whenever we say this. We're going to Washington. We're going to Mexico. We're going to Michigan. Ah! The Howard Dean scream,
Yeah.
which a lot of people, he's like, that's not what lost him. It's not what lost him. I'm like, whatever. That's all I think of is the Howard Dean scream. But I think he worked on that campaign.
Oh.
And so he's
okay.
like, that's not what
Get the
lost.
connection.
Yeah. So, yeah, that. And then wasn't it? Is this Dukakis? Oh,
No, this is. It looks like it's just a story, but it's a story of.
Is he like looking quizzically at the?
He called opponents of his economic plan professional pessimists.
Look at this
And he took a
barcode
line from an
scanner.
ad campaign.
Oh,
Heck
shit.
it.
Never.
The president also got a chance to see
there you
a
go.
supermarket checkout scanner in
I'll be
action.
darned.
And it seemed
Wow.
as though he'd never really seen one of those before, and the president said that he was amazed.
92.
Oh, how out of touch do people have to be?
Well,
That is
think about
When
that.
did
He
those
was,
get introduced, though? In his defense, if it's 92, when were those widespread? 88.
What were they doing before that? What did we do before
They were
that?
punching in numbers, man. I remember that being a little kid.
At the grocery store, and they'd be like
yeah, they were
$1.32.
fucking experts, man. They were fast as shit.
So it was just that keypad.
Yeah.
Wow. Imagine how long that would take nowadays. Oh, my
And then everybody's
God.
paying by check, too, to Easis's point,
Yeah.
throwing out ID.
What was the other one, too, that was it? Bush jumped out of a plane or something, had his balls all hiked up in the suit, the jumpsuit, and his bag was hanging
Oh,
out.
I don't remember that.
That was funny. But Dukakis' helmet, seeing him
Yeah.
come around the corner, trying to be all patriotic, was like, oh, okay, you're just a douche. You look like a total douche, dude.
Yeah, your
You're
standard
done.
politician, they can't survive that shit. But Trump,
Yeah.
he's not a
Whatever.
politician.
Whatever. I'm convinced, by the way, dude, he is tanning. Like,
I've
seriously.
been assuming that the whole time.
Like, when I've noticed it more frequently lately, but those white eyes,
Yeah.
like, look like, honest to God, is it possible that you have a 70-some-year-old man in the white, like,
I
tanning
have been
each day?
assuming that the whole time. I'm surprised that that wasn't your assumption as well. The dude's orange. The dude absolutely has a fake tan.
I know, but
Is
still,
it the spray? Maybe it's that spray. You still wear the goggles,
Yeah,
don't you? Where
yeah.
you stand there. Just stand there,
Spray
my whitey
away.
tighties.
spray away. Oh my God! Well, that would be better, but because we would know.
Would the spray be better?
Better
what's-
than lugging a fucking tanning booth
Well,
into the
still,
White
the
House.
spray is still one of those big units. I think the spray is worse, man.
Do you?
Because at least like the bed, you're actually like cooking it like a suntan, sort of. You know,
instead
just
of painting yourself.
fast
I mean,
speed.
it is almost a thing of black orange face. You know what I mean? In a weird way, painting it. Like, it's just weird. I guess I just discounted it because it was like that would be so absurd that a 70-some-year-old man would feel the need to get a sweet base. I need a base tan for the season. Oh my God! Did you see North Korea handed over 55 boxes of bones?
Saw that.
They claim are remains of American MIA, from the war. One military dog tag. It's all that we got with all that. The regime provided no other information that could help U.S. forensics experts determine their individual IDs. The U.S. defense official said it would probably take months, if not years, to fully identify the servicemen inside the boxes and lay them to rest. They've not even been confirmed by U.S. specialists to be those of American servicemen.
Right.
You know,
Just bones and shit.
yeah. And they've done this before, handed over boxes and like, oh, here you go, this is a serviceman, and it's like, yeah, there's some chicks and bones in there, and
Oh man.
some fish bones and stuff. Yeah. So they've got, after a repatriation ceremony at Osan in North Korea, the remains will be flown. Osan Air Force Base in South Korea. They will be flown to Hawaii where they'll start undergoing in-depth forensic analysis. I don't know. Part of me was like, well, I don't know how the dog tags work. I thought, don't military guys, like, if you've got a fallen brother, don't they take their dog tags? You don't, do you leave them with the fallen soldier?
I don't know.
You don't know.
No idea.
I've heard that guys will take the tags so they can give them back to their family when they get home, stuff like that. And would you really trust if it was like, yes, here's Sergeant Johnson in his box? Like, you would never trust that anyways, would you? I mean, I would think,
Yeah.
well, whatever. Okay, you've got the bones. Now we're going to have to go through the laborious work of trying to identify through DNA and family members, distant relatives and whatever, to find out who these guys are and properly bury them. And that's the least we can do for them.
Yeah, even if there were tags with every box, you wouldn't assume it's
Yeah.
the actual remains.
Exactly. So, anyway, good start at least. I mean, I suppose.
Yeah,
You
good
know,
start. Except that there's reports that the dude's re-weaponizing. So while he's giving bones, he's also building up
Yeah.
his weaponry. So
Yeah.
whatever. Hey, look, listen. If you want the absolute best automotive experience possible, go see our friends at Zotford and Halley. Zotford has a massive selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for you to choose from. They're from their award-winning service department. They have brand new free loaners that you can enjoy while your vehicle is being serviced. Zotford has a fully stocked parts department as well, and 2 state-of-the-art body shops. So as to Mike J and Etard's point, Zotford has you covered. Plus, when Zot takes care of you, you are really taking care of the podcast. So thank you all.
Hey, did either of you guys end up seeing over the weekend and in subsequent reruns the roast of Bruce Willis?
No, I heard that was going to happen, but I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I didn't catch it either. I mean, I caught most of it like the next night. Did you see any of it? That seems like
No,
something
I know. No, sorry.
it's not bad. It's not bad. I won't.
I
ruin
love
any of the
I love
jokes,
those
but-
roasts. I just for some reason didn't watch it.
Yeah, it seems weird. Like Bruce Willis out of nowhere. You're gonna roast Bruce Willis of all people? Okay, whatever. It was cool though. Demi Moore came out and roasted him, which blew the lid off the place. That was pretty cool. The reason I bring it up, E was showing me this story of Jeff Ross, who's one of the roasters in the Bruce Willis one, about he's got a show. What's the name of it? E the roast battle battle
shit.
and where they they just have all these people on stage like battle roast
It's like
each other.
it's like a season, but it's like comics, and there's someone wins at the end. You're to be the roast master or something like that.
Dissing each other.
Yeah.
And so Jeff Ross took on Pistons Blake Griffin.
What?
Yeah. And so I don't know how much of this is set up. I mean, obviously Blake Griffin's not going to go head to head with Jeff Ross. They must have been like, here, take a month and think of some shit to roast him on. And
Roast battle, by the way, is what it's called.
yeah. So this is going to be for an upcoming episode this season. Don't know when or anything like that, but we've gotten our first taste of some of the jokes. You want to hear them?
Sure.
Okay, so you got Blake Griffin attacks Jeff's weight. The only way you could get inside a gym is if you literally fucked a guy named Jim. Jeff attacks Blake's new team, the Detroit Pistons. Blake, good luck in Detroit. You know what? I think you're just white enough not to get shot by the cops. But be careful because you're now the worst shooter in the most violent city in America. Not terrible. Blake attacks Jeff's hair. Jeff, you're such a bald piece of shit. It honestly looks like we both got fucked over by the Clippers. Hair clippers versus
Right.
LA Clippers. You get that, E?
Yeah, I got it.
Jeff attacks Blake's breakup with Kendall Jenner.
This was my favorite, by the way.
You want to get personal? I'll get personal, Blake. Everyone knows you recently dated Kendall Jenner, but what they don't know is I heard she broke up with you because she caught you staring at her dad's tits. And just like the Clippers, Kendall eventually traded you for another basketball player. The season hasn't even started yet, and your ex is already leading you in rebounds.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Jim Ross is great, though. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah, isn't he
Or
usually
Jeff Ross, sorry, right?
Isn't Ross usually the best one on all those roasts? I mean, most people would agree.
Once Giraldo died,
Yeah.
I thought Greg Giraldo was the best. But Jeff is brutal and great, too.
I don't know. His show that you should actually watch. I don't know if you ever checked it out, but it actually is funny. The battle roast. It is a pretty funny show.
He's got some pretty big names on the judges panel.
Yeah.
Like he'll have Rogan out there with him and Burr and, all kinds of people, like A-list names.
He did this show with Pete Holmes, too. Crashing. It's a really good show on HBO that I've tried to get you to watch. I think you haven't done it yet, but I've tried to get you to watch it. It's called Crashing, and it's with Pete Holmes, and it's just about this dude who's trying to be a clean kind of comic in New York, and all these big comics are in it. And I'm trying to think. Artie Lang's in there. Trying to think of big fucking
Louis C.K.,
Yeah, Louis
Chris
C.K.,
Rock.
Sarah Silverman.
Yeah.
Jeff Ross is in there in the battle roast one time. So, I don't know. It's funny shit, God.
What? It's on HBO?
HBO. They've done 2 seasons so far.
I have not seen that, E. That does sound like something I'd be interested
You would
in,
like
though.
it. I'd be shocked if you didn't.
Yeah. Boy, Jaws, Stephen King, his son. Have you heard about this new?
Yeah, and
Is this-
is his son just trying to look exactly like him? Have you seen a picture of this guy?
Is he the one with the beard?
Yeah.
He's trying to look like
him?
1978 Stephen King, though,
Yeah.
right?
This is his son right here.
Pull him up.
Yeah.
Oh God, he is just trying to look like Stephen King.
I mean,
Wow,
that
he
is-
wants people.
Yeah.
He wants people to ask him, "Are you Stephen King or are you related to Stephen
Yeah.
King?"
I would have thought you would have been much older, Mr. King. Yeah.
Yeah, he's claiming he
Although
solved an
he does look
unsolved
like him.
murder by pointing to a Jaws extra, an extra in the movie Jaws.
Yeah. Before we get to that, is it weird in any way? I don't want to sound like like I'm dated or old theories, but
Yeah,
why,
you don't do that. You talked about the Beatles for 20 minutes yesterday and about how Rubber Soul is better than Revolver.
Yeah, it is. I stand by that. I thought
What does that have to do with that?
Yeah,
He's
what-
sounding old, E. At the risk of sounding old, he's about to talk about.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, I thought it was weird that his name is Joe Hill. Be Stephen King's son.
Why?
I don't know.
Stephen King didn't marry his mom. Stephen
Yeah.
King divorced his mom.
And so he kept his mom. Okay, whatever. Someone that wants to look so much like Stephen King, I would think he would keep his dad's name. Isn't that usually how that goes? I don't know.
I don't know Stephen King's history as far as marriage is
Yeah.
concerned.
So yeah, there's this Massachusetts murder 40 years ago, Lady of the Dunes, and his son now is watching this movie. He watches Jaws every year for 25 years.
What?
Yeah. Took to his blog with his theory about possibly her being in a scene of the movie. And she's still an unidentified woman. Was found in July of 1974, nearly decapitated with several of her teeth pulled out. Her hands had been cut off, so they can't fingerprint ID. And she was likely between the ages of 25 and 30. 5'8", 145. He watches the movie every year, and he must have watched it 25 times, but had never seen it on the big screen. Seems weird, too. It seems like you would have caught that in a theater at some point, but whatever. And so it's 40th anniversary in 2015. He watches it on the big screen, and he was just reading a book titled The Skeleton Crew, how amateur sleuths are helping to solve some of these, the America's coldest cases. And one of them focuses on the Lady of the Dunes. And so he's watching Jaws in the theater when he's like, oh, my God, I think that's her. I think that's her as an extra. I found myself lunging out of my seat, goosebumps and all. And now, suddenly, impossibly, there she was, life-size, and looking over her shoulder at me. There for a moment in the busy crowd scene, and then gone. The geography and time frame line up. Do you have a picture of her?
This is the image, right?
So all the way to the left, the girl with the white shirt, the blue bandana.
Right here.
Cute girl. Appears, it's from a distance. Can't really tell, but there's no way to... So anyway, the geography and time frame line up, and the woman flashes very briefly in the July 4th crowd arrive sequence. For one, the woman was found dead in the dunes outside of Providence in July of 74. That particular scene would have likely been filmed in June, and Jaws was filmed on Martha's Vineyard, a short hop from Providencetown. Hill says there's no way to say completely when the film, with absolute precision to say when they filmed the July 4th crowd scene. We know it was almost certainly shot in June because they filmed all the on-island scenes they could early. The water was too cold for swimming, and the malfunctioning shark wasn't ready for the at-sea material until late July.
So I guess that's her, right? And then this is the sketch. Or not the sketch, but...
Yeah. Yep. Artist rendering. We know the Lady of the Dunes was alive in June. Lots of folks turned up to try to get a peek of the stars. So if she was there around the area, it wouldn't have been a surprise that you could end up as an extra or kicking around, this and that. The dead woman was also found with a blue bandana, just like the one the extra in the scene is wearing. While Hill is excited about the possibility, he knows it's nearly impossible to say the woman in the Jaws scene is definitely one and the same, the Lady of the Dunes. However, he implores fellow internet sleuths and people who were in scenes of Jaws or in the area when it filmed. He's basically going, do any of you remember seeing this woman? Did anyone talk to her between takes?
Is there any record of extras?
Probably not back then. It was probably just locals showing up, and it's like, yeah, grab 30 of them. They're much more detailed now. Like if you want to be an extra.
I've been to Martha's Vineyard where they shot Jaws. No big deal.
Yeah. Do you remember it well, E?
I do.
You weren't there in 1974.
No, I wasn't.
What if she's been in front of us for decades and we've just never noticed? I think I turn the possibility over to the greatest puzzle-solving instrument humans have ever created, the internet. Give Jaws another look. Look for the lady. Did you spend the summer of 74 on the Cape or on the Vineyard? Were you in Jaws? Who else was there the day that they were captured you on film? Who did you talk to in between shots? What do you remember? And so, yeah, this woman does not have a name. He shares a picture of the cold case. This woman doesn't have a name. And then he's like, does this one have a name? With that picture of her from Jaws. That'd be kind of cool.
I'm more, interested.
It's plausible, I suppose.
Yeah.
She did look kind of like a standard 30 to 40-year-old white chick with brown hair.
She's got a blue bandana.
Yeah.
Good enough for me. Good enough for me. The other thought is, Whitey Bulger and his crew were doing a lot of murder around that time, around that area.
And that was their thing, cut off the hands and remove teeth.
Yeah, exactly. So making it harder for forensics to identify anybody. So
what is Stephen King's son doing? Why did this come up? Does he write or anything?
He is busy being Stephen King's kid.
And so this just
I don't know what
he's just Stephen King's kid, and then he saw this, and now it's a story. Is that the deal?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I'm just
another story E showed me was funny. Was from this North Seattle neighborhood. What is the deal with people not shitting in toilets? What is the deal where this
until
is the
recently,
thing?
places like Starbucks didn't let you in, man.
That's true.
That's a good point.
But people weren't shitting on the floor of Starbucks when they couldn't get in there. Why are we shitting on neighborhood sidewalks and tracks? And I get it.
What's the story here?
Well, there's a serial pooper.
Yeah.
And Jay, I want you to control the bell because I love when news people do this. They're in a race to see how many puns and innuendos they can fit into the story. They're on the lookout for for him since day one. Hopefully they don't. It doesn't take till day number 2. You know, and see if you can find the many puns. If you don't mind running the buzzer,
Sure,
I don't mean to put you on the spot
I'll
there.
try my best.
This is King 5's Chris Daniels doing his report, and he probably was in hysterics in his office, writing the various ways you could reference taking a shit or whatever. So see if you can notice it here in Chris's fine work.
Seattle is not a wasteland.
It's a great little neighborhood.
Yet a crime spree here.
So it's that big of a problem?
It's got the neighbors pretty upset.
Has left a trail of evidence.
This is the work of a man with a modus operandi.
Neighbors like Bob Snyder say
it's human or a really big dog.
it doesn't pass the smell test.
Somebody felt it was important enough that they wanted to put up signage.
He's part of a new kind of neighborhood watch.
The serial pooper.
Looking for a pair of suspected squatters.
There is hazards that go along with having people do that sort of thing in your yard.
You got to watch your step.
You got to watch your step.
This manure mystery hasn't prompted a sniff from police. We went there to get to the bottom of it or them or something like that.
How serious does the Seattle Police Department take this kind of crime?
I think it's a pretty serious thing for all of us when there's poop.
Sergeant Sean Whitcomb says a fecal fine could top $1,000.
The perpetrator or poopetrator, as the case may be, would need to have been caught in the act.
But even Whitcomb acknowledges it is not the department's top priority or even number 2.
Violent crime, property crime.
They focusing on the dump sign.
Keep us busy. We're not going to be staking out a certain street waiting for the phantom pooper to come by and leave their mess.
Until then, Matthias Caldwell may have trouble sleeping.
Maybe not. I know it's pretty terrifying thinking about serial poop. No, I'm going to be fine. I mean, there's poop on the ground all the time.
He'll definitely keep his eyes open, his nose pinched, and we'll keep our tongues firmly in cheek.
I know I'd be pretty upset if I came out in the morning and found a big pile in my front yard, though.
In Seattle, Chris Daniels, King 5 News.
Chris Daniels.
Chris Daniels. He got 10 of them in that I could count.
Let's be honest. We'd have done the same thing.
What?
Do dumb jokes like that throughout. It's your one chance to do something, right?
Would
if you were given a serial pooper story, you would try to make it funny too. That's
you saying we're Chris Daniels?
I'm saying you would try to run with that, and that's as far as you can get with local news. Give him a break. If he goes any further than that, it's not getting on. You know. So he took it as
keep our tongues firmly in cheek. Firmly in cheek. It's while they admit it's not their top priority.
I can't believe the cop. That's what shocked me is the cop going for it.
Well, it was probably something where he could see. Okay, this is a ham story. I'll play along with him. Whatever.
Yeah.
Did you have another one? E. I love.
Oh,
E's
I don't. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were searching out some.
Oh no, I didn't know I don't know if you want to watch any of this at all or no.
Yeah, sure. He's been trying to find local news stories.
I found this one about a skunk problem in this. What I told Mike is, I think what's funny about this is if you listen, when you guys joke about my Specs voice, this sounds like a dude fresh out of a school that like is trying to enunciate, every word exactly right. He's doing his version of a Specs voice, is my opinion.
Know that? Consider yourself lucky. These skunks are all over this small New Mexico town. Police say skunks, in addition to rattlesnakes, are yearly springtime visitors.
Well, it's quite wonderful. It's a rude awakening at times.
So far this year, Hagerman police have received 8 calls about skunks.
8 calls?
Driving around the
8
area,
calls?
found 6 dead ones on the road.
There's a dead one on the
Residents
road.
say the skunks are impacting their daily lives.
And when a skunk lets go underneath your house,
it
right under your
stinks.
bed,
it stinks.
makes it for a very interesting night's sleep, or lack thereof.
Police say the
Or
skunks
lack
and
thereof.
snakes come into town looking for food. But this year, the problem arrived earlier because warmer weather brought the animals out of their winter hideouts sooner.
We're finding a bunch of dead ones on the road almost nightly.
My God.
He has to do a report.
Officer Chavez on the scene.
Why is he wearing his bulletproof
When the police are
vest
informed of a
bulletproof
skunk,
vest
they
for
set
this?
a
This is a
trap
badass.
and then capture the skunk and release it outside of town.
Oh, Ray.
But rattlesnakes aren't treated so kindly. The police arrange for the rattlesnake to have a date with the officer's service weapon. Spoiler alert, there's no second date.
Catch them safely.
You looked at
So
that
therefore,
look.
usually rattlesnakes are destroyed.
Last year, the police killed 9 rattlesnakes. One was found at the high school football field.
Wow.
Another at the
8
middle school
skunk calls
playground.
and 9 rattlesnake
While
kills.
children were playing.
As
Holy
it gets
shit.
cold at night and heats up during the day, they tend to be on the
sure.
road.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
kind of what
They're
state
cold-blooded.
There are many animal lovers in town, so captured
Why,
animals are
why
released
the
without
fucking
pay.
close-ups of roadkill skunks?
Because you need B-roll of something.
I mean,
that was literally that one was like
that
its
was
face.
smithereens.
It's like mashed on the ground.
Yeah.
Its mouth is. It's like really. I think we all know what. Could you imagine if we were doing roadkill stories? Right? Dude, just be thankful you're not in like some tiny podunk town in New Mexico where the news of the day.
Gab,
is,
did you hear? There's skunks out there now. There's been 8 calls about them. 8.
I heard there was going to be a 9th call too, hon.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they said. The girls were all talking about it at the laundromat.
Those things stink.
when I was
Especially if they get under your house, it'll make for a very uncomfortable evening.
when I was looking for some of these, there actually was this like short documentary on like local news anchors, and it was like 50 minutes long, but it was about fouled like 4 or 5 of these people trying to get their first gigs in news radio, and I did feel bad for them because what you describe is right, dude. They're just trying to get up there. They want to do this. And what stories do they fucking have? They're in middle, buttfuck nowhere, and they don't have any stories to tell.
Yeah, you're earning your stripes, man, for sure.
mean-
Although it's better to be there, like if you don't want to be in a big market trying to,
Right.
obviously, in front of a lot of people. There's way more forgiving towns in America that you can get your start in to do that type of work. But oh God, is it painful to listen to?
Could if I and you can tell me no, I should have asked you this on the spot, I guess, like this. But I also found this fucking funny commercial that I think you would enjoy.
What is it?
It's a furniture commercial, and basically the premise is that anybody can get, they have this dude who's gonna like,
Financing.
yeah, no financing, no problem. I don't know if you don't have to. It's all right.
No, check it out.
It's I personally I laughed out loud when I watched this.
F&J Furniture. Hell yeah.
Furniture is having a sale. Right now, you can buy 3 complete rooms of furniture for only $699 with only $250 down. Just $50 down on select items will put you in a
gotta
great
get to the-
bedroom set or living room set today with no problem. All senior citizens
There's
get a
the
10%
dude right there.
discount. Bad credit or
Got
no
a big
credit,
cowboy
no
hat
problem.
on, cigar
Are you
coming
a
out.
member of Social Security? Are you newlyweds? No problem. Come see us.
I say, this is Frankie and Johnny's, the place that lets you have it with no problem. I'd like to buy a bedroom set.
Do you have any credit?
No, I receive Social Security and welfare.
You ever see the special man?
With no problem.
What?
I'd like to buy a living room set.
Do you have any credit?
No, I filed bankruptcy.
You have to see the special man. With no problem. I say. See, Frankie and Johnny, the credit man in town for only $50 down. He can put you in a living room set.
Holy shit.
Today, see the special man.
I got the $50.
Oh my God.
With no problem.
I got it with no problem.
Wait, are they
This
just
is-
running a loop
this is my-
clip of him?
Sorry.
Are they running a loop clip of him going, let her have it, let her have it?
I don't know.
I don't
that.
think that's multiple takes. I think that's one take, and they went, that's as good as we're going to get to understandable English out of this gentleman. Let's just use his one, let her have it.
That's incredible. Where is this?
I'll have to look at
This
it.
is old enough that it doesn't have a area code with the phone number
Yeah.
to Frankie and Johnny's Furniture.
You should look at this lady's face. The first one when she's like, "No, I'm on Social Security." She's just got this deadpan face.
And if you don't need financing, why are you asking all these people? But if it doesn't matter anyways.
Well, they got to let you know.
Can we see her walk up too? I want to know
Okay, sorry.
what the back. There's so much to dissect in this. There's so much to dissect in this. I don't know if we have enough time to do it.
Look at her dance up now in her pleated pants.
She's not the only one that does the I say.
Yeah, that's a thing.
But watch her face when she said.
Do you have any credit?
No, I receive Social Security and welfare.
She's reading that.
Yeah.
With no problem.
I'd like to buy a living room set.
Do you have any credit?
No, I'm a piece of shit.
filed bankruptcy.
I filed bankruptcy.
With no
That's a loop, dude.
Yes, the last two are
Frankie
loops.
and Johnny, he's the credit man in town for only $50 down. He can put you in a living room set, a bedroom set.
Oh my
today.
God.
See the special man.
I got the $50.
With no problem.
I got it with no problem.
Where is that?
I have to look it up. I don't know.
I need to know where that is.
It's New Orleans.
That's a new. Okay.
And there's a chicken with furniture commercial too that we may want to look at some other
yeah,
time.
I want to see a chicken with furniture.
Frankie and Johnny's free chicken with furniture.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Oh no.
Shit. 1 second.
If you had to pick one person to have to be in that commercial, let her have it.
Let her have it, guy. Let her have
Or
it.
with no problem.
That's
That guy was pretty sweet.
$50. Yeah, I kind of like the guy with the glasses on. Looks like he's a mafia guy with that poof hair. We didn't even get into that. Could you do that?
But
by the way,
you gotta like dance up to the camera if you're that guy, though.
Could you?
You comfortable with that?
I don't know if I could shimmy as well as him, and I don't know if I could do that speed talking thing that was really popular. Remember the toy guy?
Oh, the Micro Machine.
Micro Machine guy. Like they're playing probably off of that. Like,
didn't he originate on Police Academy? Or no, I'm thinking of the sound effect guy.
Oh, Michael.
Yeah, black dude on Police Academy.
Could you if you were to shoot this commercial today, I'm gonna just say there's not a chance on earth when you went, do you have good credit? And then you cut to the customer. You could not have a black woman going, I'm on welfare and Social Security. Like, I don't think that would play in today's commercial market, would it?
Yeah, I would caution against that.
Yeah. No, I'm on welfare and shit. I don't think you can pull that off.
I haven't been able to see this at a time, but
chicken?
It says free chicken.
It's the same place, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Frankie and Johnny's.
Before this is earlier probably because it doesn't look like they've updated the front yet.
Security. When the others say no, we say yes.
Let them have it with no problem.
Man, I've been everywhere. Everywhere I go, they say no credit, no deal. I need some credit now.
You come to the right store, baby. See the special man. Let him have it.
Yeah, you're right.
I say. Who's
Here he comes. He's dancing.
Frankie say. When all the other stores says no, Frankie says yes. See the special man.
What did he just say?
Let him have it with no problem.
What happened to let him have the guy?
Johnny,
did he die?
In town.
I don't know.
We've got 30 years of making your bad credit.
I think the chicken here comes.
the credit.
Oh.
I say. When you buy from me, you get chicken box free.
Right now, Frankie and Johnny's is going to let you have a free 10 or 5-piece chicken box.
Free 10? Who's taking 5-piece?
Dude.
Wait a minute.
When you buy a fucking couch, you get 10 pieces of chicken for free.
Or 5, your choice.
Well, who's taking 5?
No, dude, $200 to $1,000 purchase is 5. Anything above that, above $1,000.
So, oh man, we're right on the fence.
Look at that, with $1,000 purchase, a 10-piece chicken box. What the hell, man? If that's
Free
not an
10
incentive.
Boy, oh boy, man.
You know, they're pretty integrated, though. Your point about them, flashing to the woman who's on welfare.
Yeah.
It seems pretty black and white. That, everybody's working together here at Frankie and Johnny's.
I want to know what happened to the cigar man, though.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
We might have lost him.
Yeah. But I swear, like in the earlier one, he had black hair. Now he's got gray, curly-ish hair. So this could be a couple years later. We may have absolutely lost. Let him have it.
Let him have it.
Let him have it.
5 pieces of chicken for any purchase up to $1,000.
I mean, how much is that? How much is 5 pieces of chicken? $3.99.
What percentage of a discount is it? E, you're the mathematician in the room. 5-piece chicken.
Oh my God.
Let's say it's $10. 5-piece chicken, right?
That's being generous, I think, too.
Okay, 10-piece chicken is probably no more than $10.
Okay, sure.
10-piece chicken is $10. $1,000, and you get $10 off of 1,000. Is that 1%?
What is that?
Is that 10%?
What's 10? What did you say? What's
Is it 100%?
So you've got $1,000. You spend $1,000 and you get $10 back.
Is that? I don't know. 1.
You sure it's not 10?
I don't think so.
Boy, could be 100 too. Ready?
1,000. 10% of 1,000 would be 100. So I think it's 1.
So you're getting 1%
Too much
discount.
time in the math room and not enough time learning the English language.
Can you please find another Frankie and Johnny's? I'm sorry. Like,
just one second.
I don't mean to go down the rabbit hole live on the show, but that is some of the greatest shit I've ever seen.
No problem.
Let him have it. E, your homework for today is I demand that a let him have it drop is on Jay's machine here by the end of today.
Okay.
By the close of business today.
I want the origin story on Frankie and Johnny too, E.
Yeah, because we've got to find out what the shuffle and
There's so much. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look more.
And there's got to be a story to this. Talk to the finance man.
That shit is like, that's 100 years of evolution, what we just watched. You know what I mean?
Oh,
of
yeah.
Inside jokes and evolving on jokes and customer interaction. Something's going on down there in New Orleans at Frankie and Johnny's that we got to know about.
Yeah, we need to do some investigative digging. I wonder if
that
Frankie
shit
and
just
Johnny's
doesn't-
still exists. Can you tell if Frankie and Johnny's is still around today? I mean, if Hurricane whatever didn't take Frankie and Johnny's out, I don't know what would have. But
Oh, no. This is a 2012, July 27th, 2012, New Orleans Mass for Frankie and Johnny furniture store owner Frank, set for August 4th. So we lost Frank Trapani.
Which one's Frank? Is there a
who
picture
became
to go-
celebrated for his distinctive commercials for Frankie and Johnny furniture.
What part was he celebrated for? The fast talking Got to talk to the finance man. Or was he? Let him have it.
The
Guy.
message is simple. No financial hardship, be it bankruptcy, joblessness, or bum credit score, should stand between customers and the sofa, dinette set, or coffee table they
Hell
crave.
no.
People in such a bind who might have gotten short shrift elsewhere were referred to the stogie-wielding special man, otherwise known as Lester Love Sr., who
Hell
could be
yeah.
counted on to growl, let her have it, let her have it.
What's his name?
So that was Lester Love Sr.
Hell yeah, it was Lester Love Sr.
The capper, with no problem, came from Emile, Washington. Mr. Trapani ran the business until he retired 2 years ago, so he must be the guy who's dancing
Yeah.
out.
So I'm going to go out on a limb, Jay, and say those are not actual customers because I swear to God, unless the same customers are coming in on film day,
Yeah.
I think those might be store employees. The ones that are like looking dead at, obviously, at a cue card going, I'm on welfare and Social Security.
Yeah.
No, I got shit credit. I went bankrupt and I'm on welfare and Social Security.
He goes, do you have credit? She goes, nah, I just filed for bankruptcy. Let her have it.
Let her have it.
Then why, you're right, why even ask the question?
Let
So
her
what
have
does it
it.
even matter?
Give her a 5-piece chicken, too. Fried chicken and shit. As long as you bitch ass spend $250.
There's a Reddit thing about these guys. Yeah, this is a thing. Frankie and Johnny's is a thing.
Frankie and Johnny's is
Yeah.
known in the Reddit world. Yeah, it doesn't. 4chan probably as well. Oh, that's hilarious. God, I love old commercials. Aren't
I
they
know.
just the best? So he was basically the Mel Farr superstar of the South, right, Jay?
Yeah, I'll bet you people around the country watch Mel Farr and go, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Wasn't
He's got
he
a cape
famous
on.
for like no credit, no money down, no problem? Like
Yeah, absolutely.
like Bing.
Plus, like the Superman,
Bing
right?
Mel
You
Farr,
like,
yeah, he would do that horrible flying.
Mel Farr
thing.
superstar with far better deal.
Yeah,
and they can't fly either.
And wasn't his thing? Wasn't he? Didn't
Dude,
he get
was
in trouble?
putting governors on. He was shutting down shit. If people weren't paying, he'd from his office
Hit a
push a
button.
button, and no matter where the car was, the car would stop. You could be going 80 on Southfield Freeway,
Yeah.
and your car would disable.
Just start
There he
picking
is.
one, I suppose, or
Yeah, Mel Farr, 1980s. High prices, no big deal. Shit.
Former Lions player, Mel
Continuing
Farr.
adventures of Mel Farr, superstar, fighting high prices to bring you a far better deal.
Yes, I'm fighting high prices on used cars with my low.
I want to see him jump down again. Wait a minute. Watch this. So he comes,
Look at those fucking cars.
he flies. Oh,
Yes, I'm fighting high prices on used
Stepped
cars
off a
with my
cardboard
low
box.
payment plan. Take a look at my used car special of the
those
week.
cars.
For 1980 Mustang for only
1980
$119 a month. We've got a lot full of these bargains. The other dealers can't sell you 80 Mustang for
It's got a kill
$119
switch in
a
it,
month,
too.
And they can't fly either.
That
They
only I
can't
can
fly
do.
either.
Imagine the meeting, the meeting, Greenfield at 10 Mile. Imagine the meeting, the you know when they're just no idea, it's too outlandish, guys. We're just spitballing, toss. Let's just
Mel, you're a superstar, man.
I know. Holy shit, man! I just thought of this, man. Your name Mel Farr. It rhymes with superstar. Holy shit! Like the light bulb moment. Mel Farr, superstar. Yes. And you crime fight. You ain't like your superpowers is bringing down high prices and getting anybody with shit credit a great deal. Yeah, that's my superpowers.
What makes you different from everybody else? Well, they can't fly either.
Neither can you.
Oh man, because they ran Mel Farr Superstar for a while. I mean, they ran that thing into the ground.
I
20
actually
20
even
years
remember
of
those
that?
commercials.
20 years of that, maybe?
Yeah, I remember.
Was it really? Probably like late 70s and all through the 80s
I
for
think so.
sure. Was he going in the 90s with that shit too?
I think so.
Again, I don't know when I saw it, but I do remember those commercials. Like, I remember him with the cape. I didn't remember who he was. I didn't know much about it, but I knew who he was.
Yeah. God, that's fucking awesome, man. Those are so awesome. And that's, I almost don't blame Mel because it was like, look, I specialize in the deadest of the deadbeats. And so everything is fine. I will not touch your kill switch as long as you pay on time.
Holy shit, here's a picture of Mel Farr putting the cape on Trump.
Oh, no.
I'll be damned.
Like,
Wow.
really? Or
Yeah, yeah. That looks like it's in the 2000s,
He's
though.
affixing a cape to
That's
Donald
in the
Trump.
aughts, right? Or in the late 90s?
Hard to tell.
Yeah. Oh man, I could watch those old commercials. I just love them. Let's take a quick time out. Did you see the story, Jay, about the identical twins here locally? Not locally, but here in Michigan that are marrying identical twins.
No.
Do identical twins creep you out at all?
A little bit.
A little bit, like the way they're always like, oh yeah, I could feel it before she did. Like there's some weird
Yeah,
superpowers
we finish
they have.
each other's sentences.
Thoughts,
Yeah.
sentences, yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that more next.
It's just chemically, some.
Detroitcast continues after this short break.
Hey, TDC listeners, this is Kelly from the Hamlin Pubs inviting you to our 5 Metro Detroit locations. Come enjoy Hamlin Pubs' great food, drinks, and atmosphere. Whether you're watching the game with your buddies, out for a meal with the family, or out for a great night with that special someone, it's always a great time at our Rochester, Clarkston, Chesterfield, and our 2 Shelby Township locations. Hamlin Pub also offers party packages. We are the perfect spot for that rehearsal dinner, graduation, birthdays, or other events. For more information about our locations, including live entertainment calendars, go to hamlinpubs.com. Hope to see you soon, Detroitcast listeners.
cast continues now, bitches. Here are Mike and Jay.
Welcome back to the show. Mike and Jay. Duck boat tragedy still in the news, Jay.
Duck boat voice. Come on,
I'm on a duck boat.
I don't know how to. I don't even know how to do it. Like down. How do you? I'm not even kidding. I thought about this. I was like trying to do it. I don't even know.
Working on it. It's not perfect yet.
I don't.
That was closer.
Better than it was doing the other.
I don't even know. I really don't know how you do that.
Shut up.
Okay.
Can you make it out? I'm on a duck boat. It's pretty good, right?
Can you say boats and hoes? No, I'm just
It's pretty good. It's still a work in progress. I've only done it twice, so I'm working it out. You want to try it again?
I seriously don't even know how you do it. I don't know how to do it.
Just do like a raspberry.
I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do a duck voice, apparently. Duck. I don't know.
That was pretty good. That was the best one by far.
Okay. Well, thank you.
The Coast Guard has convened a Commandant-directed Marine Board of Investigations.
I've always loved the term commandant. I don't know why.
It's a great word.
I love the idea of someone being the commandant. Like I don't know.
Well, they've got a Commandant-directed Marine Board of investigation into the sinking that lost 17 lives. Safety investigation has made it up only 3 other times since 2010. This is the highest level investigation the Coast Guard has, Jay. There are multiple lawsuits popping up left and right. I don't know that the industry can survive this. You know what I mean? I just don't know.
Yeah, I think we're going to lose them.
Yeah. Would that be the end of the world for you? I mean, honestly. And it's so, how American is this? It's like, you know, you got this Senator Claire McCaskill, Democrat out of Missouri. Is she out of Missouri?
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah, she's filed a bill to enact safety recommendations that the NTSB previously had issued for.
Of course she has.
With input from the STB and the NTSB and the Coast Guard, I want to require that the design issues with amphibious passenger vehicles be addressed, and that boats are not compliant that aren't compliant will be taken out of service until they can be.
Too little, too late, McCaskill.
Yeah, this is what we do.
But you did do that a month ago.
You're right. Something happens, then they just do this.
Oh yeah. Well, now we got to take your shoes off at the airport, folks. People might put bombs in them.
You only have to take your shoes off, by the way, if they're not in a hurry. It's funny how like security is so weird. I don't know if you ever experienced that, but I was like a few months ago when I went on one of mine. They're just like, "Oh yeah, we're in a hurry, guys." So everyone just kind of don't worry about the belt and shoe thing.
Oh, man.
It's like, oh, okay, well, good to know.
These recommendations are reasonable and common sense. Her legislation would require improved measures to keep afloat during flooding, removal, or replacement of their canopies, and increased inspections until all vessels are upgraded.
They shouldn't be allowed to have canopies. These
Yeah.
things are just, they look like death traps.
And that's what they were saying. The families and the lawyers are like, we know for sure that 17 people were killed on this because they couldn't get out from under the canopies, period. Simple as that. So the Coleman family filed that $100 million lawsuit federally. They're the ones that lost 9 family members out of 11. The second Coleman family federal lawsuit has been filed, which does not list a specific monetary amount. Third lawsuit from daughters of a Missouri couple killed did not list a specific amount either. Is that done on purpose, would you think, or is that just like, we'll let the courts decide what that's worth financially?
Yeah, you let the court decide. All you have to do is allege the jurisdictional threshold.
Sure.
75K plus, and then you just, whatever the jury or the court awards.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just a PR move to throw out a number. Feiger always does that,
Yeah.
Certain lawyers just do that for oomph. Like, oh, this is a $200 million lawsuit.
Yeah. Burned her leg on coffee. $120 million. Wasn't that one of his, the McDonald's one? Was that Feiger?
No.
That was a different one. Anyway, it will be interesting if it goes to trial, though, and you see these. Like, I can only imagine what the owners of a in Branson, Missouri would look like. You know what I mean? Like, seeing those dudes on the stand.
Oh, man.
Holy shit.
I've seen Ozark.
Oh, boy.
I imagine.
Exactly. Hey, go ahead, Jim.
Now's the time. Contact realtor Doug Steinert. It's summer, and there's still time to get into that new home, before school starts. So contact Douglas today at 248-761. I'm sorry, 248-765-1781. He and the team at Century 21 Campbell will work to get you the absolute best deal on the sale and or purchase of your home. Doug's the man, easy to work with, a great friend of the show, obviously. So call him today, 248-765-1781.
Douglas!
So, one set of identical twins, it grabs your gaze, right? You go, oh, look at that. Look at those two
it's
identical
remarkable.
twins.
Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's amazing to me when I think of how many billions of people are on the planet. Outside of there's categories of people that end up obviously having very similar aspects about them. I mean, we've seen lots of Big E doppelgangers.
Yeah.
The Downs community
tends to look pretty similar, yeah.
In respects, but for the most part, most people just we all have our own weird, distinct features, and it's crazy when it's like, you would think you'd just run out after 3 billion. You would think you'd run out of ways to design faces that look different from everyone else. You know what I mean?
Just an eighth of an inch though can make all the difference. As we've seen with statues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Ronaldo statue, the Lucille Ball statue. Just a little bit off on the eyes, and boy, you can look quite different.
Dude, if one eye is higher than the other by millimeters, or they're too wide apart, you get that goat look.
Well, they say that most attractive people though have asymmetrical faces. In other words, there is an eye that's a little bit above the other one because if there's exact symmetry, like they've taken okay, Brad Pitt is attractive, right? And they've moved his face into exact symmetry, and he looks like a fucking goat alien weirdo.
Really?
Yeah, there's these studies that have done that.
No shit. So are we?
There's just a little. It's just the way you're perceiving. You need a little bit of shit off. You need one cheek a little higher than the other.
So is that the problem that someone like Shepard Smith is just too perfect symmetrical?
Maybe.
Symmetrical wise, and that's why he looks like a weirdo goat?
Yeah, maybe.
But some alien might look at him and just go, that is a creature. That is stunning.
Perfect symmetry.
The symmetrical nature of his face is to be reckoned with. Well, a set of identical twins, not that uncommon. 2 sets of identical twins getting married to each other. I don't know that I could do that. Doesn't that seem a little weird? But
you don't know you could do that if you were one of the twins. Whether you could marry. What do you mean you don't know?
Well, me and my brother look identical, and we're gonna find a hot chick, and it turns out she's got a smoking hot chick, identical twin, and we're gonna marry each other.
It just seems, I don't know, kind of gay. You know.
See, the thing is, I don't have a twin or anything like that, but I used to say that to my buddy Mickey. Unfortunately, he didn't have a sister. The whole point, and with Ty was the same thing. He needed a sister who was good looking. But in this perfect world, we had this idea of if Mickey could date my sister and I could date his sister, then we could just do guy trips all the time and be like, I guess we get to hang out because we're family. And the only problem is then you get to this point.
That's why I wanted to hook you and Jay's sister up. Really.
Perfect, yeah.
So you and Jay could hang out at family gatherings.
Exactly.
Go to events together. And that would have been fucking awesome.
Of course, the other then the talk ended up going to say it was me and Ty, and Ty'd be my sister, I'd be with his sister. The only problem is then the talk would lead to Ty, man, was I getting it last night? Oh, it was hot as shit and whatever. And it's that's
uncomfortable.
I don't want to hear that about his sister.
But then he would be saying it'd be my sister.
To the scenario that you're presenting though, it just seems gimmicky, right? What are the chances that you'd fall in love with one and then your brother falls in love with the other? Just seems too Brady Bunch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody just sort of matches up.
Well, you've got the Beviers, the girls, Cassie and her identical twin Casey, or Chrissy and Casey, and then you've got Zach and Nicholas Lewan. And Cassie and Nick were the first to meet. And it all started in a psychology class. Okay, they're going to Grand Valley State. And psychology loves twin studies. So the professor was like, are there any twins in the class? We're going to talk about twins. And they both raised their hands. There's one guy and one girl, Cassie and Zach. And they're sitting, one right in front of the other. And so a few, I'll hold the door for you later and blah, 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 exchange of phone numbers. The pair starts chatting. Cassie invites him to church one Sunday morning, and which seems like a weird first date, but whatever. To her surprise, he agrees. They both brought their twins along. We're standing there in the church getting ready to sing, and they just start belting it out. They were actually singing. My sister and I looked at each other like, who are these guys?
Oh, my gosh. It's too good to be true.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Because when I'd sing, I'd be like,
yeah, or just mouthing it.
But these guys were like, yeah, for
little ones to him belong. We are weak, but he is strong.
They're belting it out, taking over the room. And these chicks were just like, oh my, look at these boys singing away. So a month later, Chrissy agrees, finally. All right, I'll go on a date with Zach. And so now they start dating each other. The other brother and sister start dating too. Couples are moving in together into a 2-bedroom apartment in Fenton. Zach and Nick didn't plan to propose at the same time. They didn't, but eventually they agreed they would pop the question on a family trip to. Where would that family trip be? Jay, this is gonna hit home with you. Oh, the old Henry Ford Museum.
Oh, wow.
Might as well have been Greenfield Village, right? Right?
Sunday afternoon after church.
Yeah.
Is it after church?
Oh, I guarantee. When else would you go to the Hank Ford Museum? After church on your way home. We'd stop by. They've got
doing a Colonial War exhibit. I think it would be interesting for everyone.
For Oakland County residents. But I did love their fucking soft serve cone station.
Never saw that.
At Greenfield Village. Oh, it's the only thing I look forward to was getting a swirl cone. Yeah, chocolate vanilla was the greatest thing ever. And so, yeah, the 2 sets of twins and the 2 sets of parents, which would be weird, are all walking around. Just a lovely family day out there at the Hank Ford Museum. And they're walking around for nearly 2 hours. Oh. And then they find the perfect place for their surprise, sitting in a century-old vehicle for the picture. They knew the timing was finally right. After some persuasion, they convinced the girls to close their eyes. Now, nearly 18 months later, they're ready to tie the knot. They didn't want to share the wedding. As being a twin, you never get to have anything on your own. But knowing they had similar guest lists, they decided to do it over the same weekend, like August 4th and 5th or whatever. And so that's what they're going to do. As a wedding gift, a relative gave the couples their own stay at a family beach house in Florida. The couples will go 4 days apart from each other, but meet in the middle for a few days at Disney World. Wouldn't you want to go first?
Say that again.
So a family friend was like, look, I don't want to make you guys go on your honeymoon together. So I've got this beach house in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to you for 4 days. And then after that, we'll give it to your brother and your
Oh, yeah, you're going to tear
sister-in-law.
that thing apart.
I mean, dude, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of... I don't think there's enough battery life in black lights to fully scout what's been done
you want to be
to that place. So I'm just like, ooh, yeah, I'll go first. That's cool. No, I'll go first. G-Money and his wife can go second. But I'm going to fucking put a serious hurting on this place. So, and then let's see...
I'm sure they're all nice people, but what are the chances that, your mate just happens to be the twin of your brother's mate?
Well,
I mean, come on.
It sounds...
I'm not going to question the depth of these individuals, but what are the chances?
But you're questioning the depth.
I don't...
Okay, here's the problem. And it's kind of the ease point. Like, I get it. It's like, dude, because twins, when you talk about them, they're like, we want to live within walking distance of each other. We moved out of the house and into separate places for 3 months, and basically we set up air mattresses on each other's floor because we couldn't stand to be out of the room together.
They're like that, I guess. Sure.
And so you get into this thing where it's like you don't want to be apart from each other at all. And so that's kind of weird.
Is that what they're saying? Like, is that their personality? Because I'm sure not all twins are like that.
Well, yeah, they've all got they all
got
really
that
like
thing.
being around each other. But what happens when one of the guys cheats?
Just one of the 4 has to be a dick, and the whole thing is just
done.
goes awry.
And then
well, also, what if one of the ladies were to start to gain some weight?
Yeah.
And then the other dude's like, well, we could just...
That's fair.
Share the skinny one? What are you suggesting?
No, what he is suggesting
that one's
is,
become unbangable, but we still have one.
Yeah,
Right.
we still have one that
another
looks
one.
the same. Because at this point, you could
You
like
switcheroo.
I wonder if the brothers, because that's something the boys would do. Be like, dude, what do you say? I'm just gonna go home. When we get home from work today, we'll both get home at 5. I'm just gonna go into your duplex. You just go into mine.
See if it feels different.
Yeah, see if it feels different. see if we can work some new game out on our girls, and see what they're into, and see if they know.
What if, though, in that scenario,
Because these dudes could pull it off. If I was dating this one and this one showed up,
really,
I'd bang him. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. There's no way.
What if in the scenario you're describing, I just thought about this. Let's say the guys try to do the switcheroo, and they're like, oh, we'll see. But what if, like, the one dude's way worse at sex than the other, and so the girl's like, oh, shit. Like, she's used to, like,
Zach.
like, she's used to long, like, 20-minute sessions or some shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, 3 minutes
Are
or
twins
so.
Penoozle meat exactly the same? Like,
I would assume. I mean, they would know, right? You would have to check with your brother and be like, just so we're on the same page. I mean, we're same height, same weight, same everything. Our dongs are the same too, right?
Yeah. Well, I did
Because I didn't even think about that problem. if one kid was fucked and got like a 4-incher and the other was like 9, like you couldn't pull the switcheroo.
No, you couldn't.
And what if the girls started comparing and they're like, oh, well, you know, they got, and plus they both have huge dicks, and the one was like, they do.
They
do.
No,
both.
No, it'd be funny though if one of them was like, because they're both church prudes, and you know that there are some church prudes who are like, oh my, I don't really want to undress in front of anybody, and then there's some that are fucking freaks, and so if you pulled the switcheroo and it was like, oh my God, your wife's a dead fuck, and
and the other one's
shit.
just crazy.
And the other one, I was fucking flipping her around the room and slamming her, planting her face into the headboard.
Yeah, they're different people.
She couldn't get enough of it, and they do say that our personalities are wildly different and stuff.
Yeah.
So they got to be careful. But my thought is immediately, because over 50% of these marriages end in total disaster and break up. So just playing the odds, it's likely that one of these two couples isn't going to work out, and then it's going to make
Look at this cute
Thanksgivings. It's going to make Thanksgivings very weird. It's going to make
look at this cute photo. That creative photographer. That guy on the left is like, really? Do we have to do this?
So what are we role playing here? I want my girl. No, I want my girl. But they want each other.
Sister. Yeah, everybody's being pulled in a different direction.
But I think what they're saying here is the girls just want to be mashed together by themselves.
Right.
And the guys are like, I'm taking my fucking girl and going over here.
I agree. I think it's like the girls just want each other, and the guys are like,
kind of rapey in this Me Too environment.
I agree. I mean, there should at least be a hashtag Me Too insignia on the bottom.
I'm going to question this photographer.
Yeah. Well, we wish them nothing but luck here. If we get the registry, we'd be glad to send something over. Something small, obviously on the register, a toaster perhaps.
I'm sure their parents are happy that they're doing the weddings together.
Well, sort of.
The Jan and Marsha Brady thing that helps with expense.
Well, you're right in that people coming to the wedding, it will be a weekend-long event. But it's like, okay, I get my special day on the 3rd, and then we'll regroup and
your
do
day is
your
over.
special day.
Oh, that's what they're doing?
Yeah, instead of sharing, it's like we share everything, so we don't want to share this
so everyone
special
has
day.
to walk down the aisle twice, and everyone's got to, do all that shit twice.
Yeah.
The people going.
Yeah.
What if you're only friends with, like, the guy? Like, I wonder if there would be people that would not go to both weddings. Like, if they didn't, I don't fucking know that other couple.
I just hope they're both good guys and good girls, because that could work. If one of them's an asshole, like you said,
you're right.
Or if one of the chicks
out of the 4, man, it's gonna mess everything up.
One chick is a little promiscuous, one than the other. I mean, it's just I'm worried about it. I hope things work out.
Hey, everybody, please use our affiliate links. You'll see our Amazon and Groupon links above the fold at DetroitCast.com. Click on them, shop away. It doesn't cost any more. The key, however, is that you're clicking through our links. So please use those. That helps out a lot. Also, make sure you're shopping MyPillow.com for all your bedding-related needs.
Yes.
Use the TDC code for the very best discount. So just at checkout, make sure you're punching in TDC. You'll get a really, really nice discount, and MyPillow will help us out as well.
Hey, Jay, we'll get to email in just a second. There's a story I've been hanging on to for a few days, and E reminded me of it, and I wanted to show it to you. Look at this baby. They took him out in the sun for like 5 minutes, and that happened to his face.
No, man.
Yeah, he got all burned up. It was terrible. He's got some...
Yeesh.
And that's old. He's grown now. He's
Okay.
grown, right? Everything recovered, but that is not good. You take your little one out in the sun for an afternoon, and that comes back burned to shit. I mean, burned to a crisp. He's a British guy, and he's been diagnosed with the rare xeroderma pigmentosum. Familiar with that?
Absolutely.
Pigmentosum?
It's my favorite pigmentosum.
Yeah, his name's Alex. He's 25 now, and he has not stepped outside on a sunny day, and even on gray days. He wears a cumbersome mask and protective visor to block out UV rays. And so this inventor, this chick, Zoe Laughlin, has designed a hyper-realistic second skin mask modeled on his own likeness. So that he can go out in the sun, and his family is blown away by this.
Because he looks totally normal, right?
Well, yeah.
He's going to look totally just like himself.
I stopped right there when I was reading the story. I was like, okay, we just need to...
He's going to look exactly right. Oh, my God! What?
And so...
What the fuck?
So he wants to go outside and hang out,
Yeah.
and now he can.
Now he can.
Because
yeah.
this is completely blocking
I like that there's
UV rays.
some scruff.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of
Well,
got
5
like...
o'clock.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He's like...
Well, it's his likeness.
Just a normal guy out on the
Oh,
town.
my God. Just going out in the sun. Yep. What the hell, man?
Well, what's he supposed to do, I guess? I mean,
Yeah.
you're allergic to the sun.
I don't think they've got it nailed down like the mouth. Like if he talks to someone, people are going to freak the fuck out, dude.
They do it on Mission Impossible, you know? It's really
Are there
realistic,
are there more pictures or any video or anything? Because it looks like there's more pictures to the left than the one you.
No,
That is absurd. It's basically a bust. Like, this woman has made this whole bust
Hell
for this
yeah.
guy to put on.
It's made of silicone with a UV rating of 0. 2 months later, the mask arrived. Alex and his family were astounded by how real it looked.
Oh, it looks great.
When Alex is a few days old, you know, family day out ended in disaster, and you can see in the photos his face is fried. There's no skin there. His hands were burned. His legs were burned. His condition means, you know, we're all sensitive to the sun to some degree, but you and I can go out in the sun, get ourselves a nice base like Donald Trump, and look good. He is only 10,000 times more sensitive to UV damage than you and I are. So here we are,
Look at that thing.
unveiling the mask, and what do we think, ladies and
So you
gentlemen?
come up inside and just stretch now.
That's a lot of work gone into this.
Oh,
But
my
I don't
God.
think we're going to know how successful it is until it's on. Would you like to have a try on?
Yeah, put the
Okay.
chin in
Now, you're
first.
only allowed to go out on Halloween. You know that, right? It's like the only day you're allowed to leave the house. But
Look at this. This is
Now,
absurd.
just the nose is the important thing to look
It's a
at.
mask of
You
him.
okay?
It's
How
a
are your
him
eyes?
mask.
If I feel comfortable.
Oh, it looks great.
yeah,
That, I think, is
Oh, yeah.
how it's going to work.
Put the
Yeah,
glasses
yeah,
on.
that's
Wow,
really good.
yeah.
Oh my god.
No,
it
looks
does
totally
look
normal.
good.
looks
Alex,
great.
Would you like to come outside?
Yeah.
God.
Oh boy. You know, I feel really bad for Alex. That sucks, but boy, oh boy, we humans are a long way from getting that down. They really do make it look real in Mission Impossible,
Yeah.
don't they? When a guy just pulls his face off and he's someone totally different, and you go, "Wow, I know you're a bad guy, but I had no fucking idea."
No idea.
Who is your artist, sir? That is really fine work. If Alex shows up,
He walks into a party store or something, you're going, oh my God, I'm about to be held up. I mean, something's off with this guy.
dude, the amount of palms up this guy sees on a day-to-day basis walking down the street.
Yo, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. Just here.
He's like,
Handed wallets all day long.
everybody's been so nice. I'm handed 30, 40 wallets a day.
Billfolds are given to me.
Whoa, 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 everything's cool, man. Everything's cool. What do you need? People are just, here's the keys, car, go. He's been given 300 cars and 4,000 wallets in the last month.
It's just my sun mask.
How you doing? Just out for a stroll on a lonely day? Oh, my God. That's got to be hot as balls in there, too.
That's the other thing. You're right.
Those sunglasses aren't, oh,
But
man.
he has to have the sunglasses on because otherwise it looks weirdish, even weirder than it already does look.
No, otherwise he's dealing with that whole fucking looking at the sun during eclipse thing.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's just got dots in the eyes, you know? So he's got to have these fucking huge, those whole roundabout eyeglasses. Oh, man. Yeah, I wanted to see with you, Jay, what that mask looked like because I knew it was going to look as good as it did.
Yeah.
And I'm
it's
glad
really-
it's working out for
Well
young
done.
Alex.
Well done, everyone.
Wow. How we doing for email?
We do have some email, Mike. And
All right.
if listeners you'd like to write into the show, send us your thoughts to email at DetroitCast.com. Jim writes in concerning episode 1097 regarding the case where the guy comes out of the party store and he sees the dude messing or at least arguing with his girl who's who's parked in a handicapped spot, and
The
he
stand your ground law one.
comes up, pushes the guy he sees arguing with the girl. The guy arguing falls to the ground, immediately goes to his waistband, pulls out a gun and shoots the guy who pushed him.
Yeah, kills him.
And the sheriff came out and said, we're not going to bring charges because this is right within that stand your ground law.
We don't know what his fear level was. It was him, not us. It's illegal for us to even arrest him.
So Jim says, are you two fucking kidding me? First of all, not even a news story. Defending one's person is a God-given right. Hell yeah. America! America! How can you even begin to defend that dead fool? What if the guy would have knocked his head on the cement and died? Well,
Yep.
we'd have a totally different case then.
Yeah, then it's murder.
Yeah. Thank God he's dead. The world is better off without him. Jim, I hope to God this is
Tongue in cheek.
Tongue in cheek.
We're missing something in the
But then-
texting or emailing nature of
But
this.
then Jim also does follow up regarding Matt Millen and say, I agree with Big E. Fuck that douche Millen. At least God is just.
I don't know if I'd
I think
say that.
All right.
Jim might just be being he's
Jim's
being
being
Jim.
Jim.
Yeah.
That's old Jimbo. What are you going to
Yeah.
do? No,
Dude,
Jim,
the whole thing about that,
Jimbo.
you got to analyze it case by case. And
Yeah.
to me, I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, it's hard to say that guy was like in any danger at that point. You know, a second later, maybe he would have been.
Yeah.
You know, a second later, if the guy starts to reach for his pocket, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I saw in that video, man, that did not look like that dude was reasonably in fear of death or great bodily harm. Yes, he had been pushed, and he had been subject to physical violence. But, dude, if the law is just you can fucking shoot a guy who assaulted you, come on, man.
Yeah, and there's a couple things you have to look at, and I understand what the law is and whatever, you know, it's that law stands in a lot of states. But when you look at it, when the guy gets pushed down, it's not like the guy that pushed him is coming after him. When he pulls the gun, his hands go up like, whoa.
He's in retreat position.
He's in retreat position, and that's the thing.
Like, I can totally see pulling the gun.
If he's
absolutely, I'll support that. Pull the gun, defend yourself.
I'll even support him shooting him if when he pushed him to the ground, the guy had his finger out, yelling at him, and was taking steps forward.
Yeah.
Even taking steps forward, I would say, hey, dude, you just don't know. But when he pulls the gun out, it's like, oh, shit. You got to at least give the guy a chance to go. And there's some other disturbing things, and I haven't heard a lot reported about this.
I think the dude's gonna be charged at some point.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But there were some other things I heard. There were stories that were starting to trickle out from people around the area that knew the guy that fired the gun as kind of a prick and an asshole and kind of not searching for shit.
Yeah,
but
he's willing to shoot somebody because he can.
Yeah, looking for ways to make it.
I wonder if Jim.
Okay
I wonder if Jim would support the guy who pushed. So the pusher. I wonder if the case were that he came out of the party store, saw a guy arguing with his girl, and shot the guy. I wonder if Jim would support that.
Yeah.
He's defending his girlfriend.
And I feared for her life. Can you fear for someone else's life and shoot? Does that work for stand your ground?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's a tough one to watch. Like, you know, the thing that helped Zimmerman so much is there's no video of that stand your ground moment, you know? And so you're going by the one word of an alive guy and no word from the dead 17-year-old unarmed Trayvon Martin.
But Zimmerman wasn't even a stand your ground case. It was a case of self-defense. They didn't even let him off under the stand your ground. It was just flat out self-defense. His head was being bashed in.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's when the stand your ground law kind of came to this forefront of the nation's
psyche.
So, yeah, like they're like, holy, wait, what? This is a law down there?
Yeah.
And so I think this guy's going to be charged at some point, but Jim wouldn't charge him.
Yeah, what did they say?
It's his God-given right. Shoot his ass.
Shoot his ass. Should have shot him earlier.
He pushed you.
As soon as he was walking out of the store, he should have shot his ass.
And the girlfriend.
Feared for my life. I saw a black man walking towards me in the parking lot. Of course I shot him. Yeah, I don't know. Didn't they say, look, by law, we can't arrest this guy. This guy could sue us if we arrested him over this. But
what?
I know. I read that. I couldn't believe it either. I saw the sheriff saying that. Like, by law, we can't even arrest the guy.
Yeah, this sheriff is taking such a pro-shooter stance that I think somebody else in the state is going to pick this up.
Well, they did say, I thought he did say, we're going to hand this over to the prosecutor's office, and if they want to do something with the evidence that we've got.
Well, that's what the prosecutor does.
Right. But don't you usually wait till someone's charged before you can prosecute? Like,
the prosecutor decides.
But isn't someone usually arrested?
I thought it was weird that the sheriff. It's sort of like a James Comey situation here. James Comey comes out and says, "Oh, Hillary didn't break a law." It's like, dude, that's not up to you. You're supposed to investigate and provide the information to the attorney, and then she decides whether there's charges.
Right.
So that's kind of the same thing here. The sheriff is like, "No charges will be brought." Like, give it to the prosecutor. Let him decide.
That's true.
Show
you
him
arrest him. You don't bring charges. Yeah, you're right.
A couple Marine issues here.
Hoorah!
Yeah. Brandon writes in, "Oorah." Mike, I'll keep this short. As a Marine listening to yesterday's episode 1104, I feel it is my duty to bring to your attention Marines reply, "Oorah!"
Hoorah!
Not hoo-yah.
Hoorah!
That bullshit you keep saying, hoo-yah.
Bing some Marines going, hoorah!
Hoorah, Marines. Hoo-yah, Navy. Hoo-ah, Army. And, of course, the Air Force has adopted it as their own as well. Hope this helps. By the way, Jay didn't answer my question about shipping TDC merchandise overseas.
Oh, boy.
So I took it upon myself to get things done, like Marines do. Fuck off, Jay. I have my TDC zip-up hoodie on its way.
Nice. Semper Fi, brother.
Hopefully you got the embroidery. It really pops.
I don't know.
It absolutely pops.
Hoorah, O-O. Okay.
Sorry, Brandon. I don't remember seeing a question about overseas shipment. Biggie, keep... Oh, sorry.
I don't know. I guess this is...
Yeah, go ahead. Hoorah.
It's a minute.
January, I responded great.
conduct and
I'll take Brandon's word for it that it's oorah.
Yeah, you can't find just the sound effect of Marines going oorah.
I wonder if this is a case of stolen valor. Are we allowed to exclaim that? Like, you were all over it yesterday, and you were proclaiming Semper Fi and all. Like, is that restricted to? Do you have to be a Marine or be in the service to say this shit? Like, is that stolen valor?
I don't think it qualifies as stolen valor, because then you could say that anytime an actor in a movie is going hoorah or hoorah.
Yeah, but they're actors in a movie.
Yeah, but I'm an actor technically here playing the part of a Marine. Like, when I was doing that, I was like, Semper Fi.
I thought you were just like, yeah, Semper Fi, everybody.
Fuck. I
think
know.
you
Are
might
you
be
trying to get me in trouble? I was trying to worm out of it, but I
think
dude,
you
the
might have
last thing I
stolen
need
some valor
is
there.
fucking stolen valor charges against me. By the way, speaking of Marines, Chris Crackiola, our boy, who's down in San Diego now. Sure. When I was watching the Last Chance U, listen to the quarterback coach who's coaching up Malik Henry. Listen to him. I couldn't tell the difference between his voice and Crackiola's voice. It sounds like Chris Crackiola is the QB coach of Last Chance U. So if you watch it, just keep that in mind and see if you hear it.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
I will check that out. Big E, keep being yourself, says Brandon. That is entertainment enough. Keep up the laughs, gentlemen. Brandon. So he didn't hold it against you, Mike.
Okay.
Sounds like it ended on a good note. To follow up on another Marine issue, you knew Wolfie would write in, right? Sup, fags?
Sup, homo?
Just wanted to add something to the story about Marines being heavy drinkers, smokers, and sexually promiscuous.
Hell yeah.
All of these are
Hoo-ah.
true.
Hoo-ah.
Not to say the Army and Navy aren't up there as well, but not quite as much. The Air Force, no. Just no.
What is it with the Air Force, man? Everyone dogs on the Air Force.
To the author's point, my buddies and I exited a local bar in Okinawa, drunk as fuck. We're walking to the bus stop to get back to base. I spot a 96-pound Japanese fellow on a scooter. I wave him over with a big smile. He pulls up to us, and I shove him off the scooter and hop on. Wolfie, you dick.
What is that?
Poor Okinawanese guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's just scooting by.
But this story was supposed to be a positive.
Yes, U.S. service member needs to speak to me very quickly. Hold on, be right there.
Hey, dickhead! Bam!
I can't believe why people don't like America.
I start drunkenly driving around him in circles while my buddies laugh their asses off until I crashed into a parking meter. I lay the scooter down and run off into the darkness with my boys and catch the bus.
And paid for the damages, right?
Tons of great memories from those drunken days. Most people spend their 20s bar hopping or in college. I spent mine raping and pillaging the globe, figuratively, of course.
I don't know that I take that, of course, based on that story.
These colors don't run. What's he doing running from the scene?
Oh, Wolfman.
We didn't say all Marines are great dudes. Wolfie's obviously a cocksucker. We know that. You know?
We do.
You know, it goes without saying.
Jason writes in, my wife and I just discovered listening to you guys on half speed is absolutely hilarious.
I imagine we sound hammered.
Hi, Mike.
Good day.
Well, quite well, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Shalom, Biggie.
I'd like to also suggest some Prana Zion stretch shorts.
Oh,
I own every color of those. Those and the jeans are so comfortable. Enjoyed having Douglas on the show as well. We used him, and he was great to work with and during the purchase of my first home a year ago. Well, thank you, Jason.
Very good.
Thank you to everybody who uses our sponsors.
Of course.
Whether it be Merck, whether it be Zott, whether it be Wasik, Douglas, whether it be our listener business network people. It's important to keep the show going. Bottom line. Bottom line. Can we bottom line it?
We can absolutely bottom line it.
Don't support the sponsors, the show doesn't go on. It's
Exactly.
the only way it can. So thank you.
For sure.
Let's see here. Another sponsor prop from Jim. Dear lard, tart, and receiver of postcard. I just wanted to email you to mention that my wife and I met with Mark Leibovitz based on the advice of the Detroit Cast. We recently had a bit of a complicated situation we went through that involved another financial advisor. Long story short, Mark and his assistant were a big help in getting things resolved. Really lifted some of the weight off our shoulders. He's a good dude, and I recommend other listeners meet with Mark if they want to review their current situation. On another note, Mike's recent tweeting of old concert ticket stubs brings up a difficult subject for me. I went to a Jerry Cantrell concert, guitarist of Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains. When he was doing a solo tour, it was at the State Theater in Detroit in 1998. I hope Jim is sure of that date. Otherwise, he will be called a cunt on social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
You will be trolled unless you're correct.
I don't even know if he should still have his job the next day if he was wrong about that year.
Before the show, I ran into Sean Kinney. the drummer of Alice in
yeah, I
Chains.
love Sean Kinney.
Just walking around in the crowd. He was not a regular on Jerry's solo tour, but performed with him that night. Another long story, but I was able to meet them after the show. While talking, I had Jerry sign my ticket stub. I would have loved to tweet a picture of the signed ticket to Mike, but unfortunately I can't. Several years ago, my wife and I moved into a new house. I think somewhere in my move, my ticket must have been lost as I have not been able to locate it. I'm thinking someone who helped us move was cleaning out drawers, thought it was trash or something, threw it out. How dare them!
Oh, there's no way. They might have stole it, but I don't know that
I have looked for years and have reluctantly come to accept the fact that it's gone.
Yeah. Your wife decided this piece of shit needs to
Fuck
go. No,
this.
No, it's her. Wait, is it a chick emailing or a guy?
It's Jim.
It's Jim.
See?
Jim. Yeah.
She's like, you know
His
what?
wife did
I'm
a giant
sick of these-
sweeperoo.
You think that's what it was?
Yeah.
Just took a drawer
Some other
and dumped
fucking
it.
shit, some ticket stubs, some other kind of like just memorabilia.
There's a drawer with dust, pennies, paper clips, an errant movie ticket,
Yeah.
and a ticket stub that he
Like
didn't.
a Star
she
Wars
didn't,
figure leg or something.
Yeah, and she just went.
Yeah.
Dumped it right
Oh,
into
man.
a fucking bin, man.
As a huge Alice in Chains fan, says Jim, this is extremely depressing. Anyway, keep up the good work. The show's been mostly great. Jim. Goat gotten.
Yeah.
Save the rest for tomorrow, Mike.
Very good. Tomorrow's the last day of the week, right?
By my calculation, yes.
That's how the
that means
days
it's
go.
this day in history with Big E.
Oh, are you prepared?
Yeah.
And other great offerings. I think I have a grievance, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you haven't been upset about much lately.
Grievance
so
found me the other day. I need
Oh,
to get it off my chest.
Oh, boy. Does it need to wait? Can it wait?
It can wait.
Okay, great. Well, we'll look forward to that tomorrow. Hopefully you guys will join us.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.